Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today I'm doing a quick video on transporting your handgun while flying. This is something that I learned when I started going back and forth um, to see family and so forth after I retired and moved to Texas. So we'll get right into it. There's a couple of things you have to be aware of, specifically talking about the ammunition, how it's transported, because there are some differences between different airlines and the TSA. So this is straight off the TSA website right here. And the first thing they talk about, and this is something you've got to make sure that you're aware of, is whenever you're traveling, obviously, to another state and you're going to carry your firearm, or even if you're going to go meet friends to shoot or whatever you're doing and you're going to be transporting it in a vehicle, make sure you're familiar with the laws in that state. Because remember, even if you are retired law enforcement like I am, and I'm carrying under HR 218, the Law Enforcement Officer Safety Act, that's a federal law, if you're not familiar, which allows me to carry a concealed weapon in any state. However, I still have to follow state and local laws, which could be a magazine restriction, obviously areas that I can't carry a firearm. So be familiar with where you're going, because we all know that can be a major problem, especially with certain states that don't want you carrying or have more restrictive laws. So according to the TSA, and this is right straight from their site, right? Firearms must be unloaded and locked in a hard-sided container, and they have to go as checked baggage only. So here's one thing that came up, just so you're aware: firearm parts, right? People wonder what can I take on the plane? Well, firearm parts, which include your magazines, clips, bolts, and firing pins, are prohibited in carry-on baggage. They have to go in check bag. And this is interesting too, according to the TSA. Replica firearms, including firearm replicas that are toys, may be transported in checked baggage only. So if you have kids and they have toy guns, or maybe you're doing training, whatever it is, you keep that in mind. Rifle scopes are permitted in carry-on baggage or checked baggage. Okay, so ammunition, and then this is what I discovered when I first started flying. Okay, ammunition is obviously prohibited in carry-on. It's got to go in check bags. But here's what the TSA says: ammunition may be transported in the same hard-sided lock case as a firearm if it has been packed as described above. And this is firearms magazines and ammunition clips, whether loaded or unloaded, must be securely boxed or in the hard-sided case where your unloaded firearm is. Now, so that when you read that, you think, okay, I have my loaded magazine. You can't put the loaded magazine in your firearm, okay, because even if there's not a round in the chamber per the TSA, that's considered loaded. But according looking at the TSA website, you can take your loaded magazine, put it in your hard-sided case, and you're good to go. However, you have to check with the airline, and this is where the difference that I found, it's the biggest difference, because everybody's the same with the hard-sided case, got to be locked and so forth. Okay, last time I flew out of Fort Worth back to California, I went through American Airlines. So American Airlines, all the same thing. However, the ammunition, according to the American Airlines, is not accepted loose or in magazines or clips. Okay, so it has to be in the original box or a box made to hold that ammunition. And I have a couple of those I'll show you. So this is the biggest thing. Whenever I travel, doesn't matter what airline I'm on, I never put loaded magazines in my case. I always unload them, put the ammunition in the original box or one of my little boxes made for it, because then I know I'm always in compliant. Some airlines may allow you to have loaded magazines in the case with the unloaded firearm. But if you're switching airlines and then you go to one and you go to another, it can become a hassle. I suggest you just unload your magazines, because then you're always compliant with wherever you're going or whoever you're flying on. And this again is in the United States. International, that's a whole nother thing, and I'm not getting into that today. So basically this is how it's going to work. You're going to go to the airport. You have to check in with the ticket agent. You cannot use the kiosk or the mobile app because you have a firearm. Now, the last time again I flew, I went to American Airlines. This is how they did it. I went to the ticket agent, gave my ID, and I declared an unloaded firearm. I then opened my case, so there's my firearm case. I use Pelican, so there's my Pelican case. They had me open the Pelican case to verify the condition of the handgun as well as the magazines and the ammunition. And that was a big deal. When talking to the ticketing agent, she was telling me this happens all the time, that people will bring loaded magazines. Because when you look on the TSA website, it indicates the magazines can be loaded, but they're more restrictive. So that's a problem. And keep in mind, if you have to unload those magazines and you don't have a box to put them in, that ammunition is going to be surrendered, because you can't just have it loose in your bag, even in your little case. It's got to be in a container itself. Okay? You're going to sign an affidavit. It's a little white card for American Airlines. Other airlines might be different, but it's all basically the same. Basically signing, saying, hey, I've got an unloaded firearm, I followed the rules, and so forth. You're going to re-secure your case. They'll take that card, they put it on top of the box, and then you can close your checked bag. They'll put a tag on it, a red tag. It's basically a priority bag. They don't put anything on there that says gun, ammo, or anything like that. And it goes through. Now, here's another thing to be on the lookout for, because this happened to me, and it could happen again. Twice when I've flown, out of the handful of times I've been flying since retirement, the bag is supposed to go separately from like the regular bag, okay, because it's a priority bag. What's supposed to happen is when you get to your destination, it's supposed to be removed from, the regular bags, and you're supposed to go to the baggage claim area or employees, wherever they have it, at whatever airport you're going to. You need to show your ID and your claim ticket that matches the number on the bag, so they know that it's you and that's your bag, because there's a firearm, and they know there's a firearm. Now, I flew out of Texas once and back into California, and my bag wasn't separated. It actually came down the regular carousel. Okay, I was standing there, I got it, no problem. It happened flying back to Texas as well. It went down to the regular carousel. Luckily I was there, I saw it, I recovered it, no problem. So when you fly, I suggest that you watch the regular carousel first. If it doesn't show up, then go to the baggage employees and let them know, hey, I had a bag with my firearm, and they will have separated. Keep in mind, every airport's a little different. When I flew back on American back here to Texas, the separated bags go to another belt, and that belt has to be operated by an employee with a little code they punch in to get the belt to work, and then the bags come out. So you don't have to worry about that bag like coming out somewhere in the corner and just being stacked. Somebody will have positive control of that bag. So watch the carousel. I'm telling you, watch the carousel, because it can happen. It happened to me twice. And it's going to take the time it's going to take to get your bag anyway. Okay? So that's basically how it's supposed to work. Now, when you go on your return flight, don't forget, you'll get the text message that says, hey, do the pre-check-in, or the email, check-in now. You can't do it. You've got to go to the ticket agent, declare an unloaded firearm again, and go through the same process. Some airlines don't actually have you open the firearm case itself. They'll just send it through the x-ray, and if there's a problem, they'll notify you, and then you are required to open it. Again, you can use any locks you want. You could use a box that has a key lock, built in. I use small master locks, which I'll show you. You could use TSA locks, and then they can open it themselves if they need to. I mean, it just depends. Everybody has different cases and, different ways of doing things. But make sure the gun is unloaded. There's nothing in the magazines. The ammunition is properly packed. The box is hard-sided and locked, and it is in your check bag. Okay, this is for handguns. I'm not talking about rifle cases, which are obviously larger, and so forth. I'm specifically talking about handguns. That's what I've traveled with, and these are the problems that I've seen as far as the differences. Now, another thing to be aware of is if you have a connecting flight, remember, different airlines are different. Let's say you're going from airline A, which allows you to have ammunition in the magazines, but your connecting flight is airline B, and they do not. Okay, now if they inspect it, there's a problem, right? Because now, oh, well, what do we do now? you're going to lose that ammunition. So you need to let the airline that you're going to connect to know, hey, I'm on this flight, I'm connecting here from whatever airline, and I have a unloaded firearm. This is why I'm telling you, unload the magazines and put them in there. Then it doesn't really matter which airline you're going on, whether they allow it or not, you are covered. It's just easier and less hassle, okay? So it's pretty simple. I know there's a video out there someone did recently where they actually checked a firearm as they're going on a trip. You can look for that, that's helpful. If I can find it, I'll put the link down below. I'm not taking any trips, so I got no video at the airport to show you. Anyway, if you have any questions, let me know, but I'll go ahead and show you how I pack it and hope it helps. Alright everyone, this is the case I use to travel with my handgun. This is the Pelican 1200 case. I've got another one in black and one might be in green or something. I've got a couple of them. So as you can see, it's closed, it's secured. Okay, you've got to have it locked, so I've got locks on both sides. Which fit fine, and they keep it snug, so even if you unlock it, you won't be able to open it enough to get anything out. I use these small master locks. The big thing to remember when you're using a lock is that the holes in the Pelican cases, and I don't know about other ones, but in the Pelican cases, they have to be big enough to take the shackle or shank, all right, from your lock. I have these other locks. These are really good locks too. These are called commando locks, but you can see these, it's a lot thicker and they won't fit. But I've taken one of my Pelican cases and I actually used a file to kind of dig out the hole a little bit, and I got it to fit. And these are really strong and keep it real tight, and even again, if you open it, you're not going to be able to get anything out of that. You can also use as your standard TSA lock. They have some other ones with the little cable piece. It's like almost like a wire. I don't use those because I mean they don't seem really super secure for me, especially for a firearm. But the advantage of having a TSA type lock is that you can avoid being called by the TSA should they have to open the box for some reason. They could do it on their own. Okay, so that's what I do. I use these little master locks, and then inside, the way I have it set up is, you can see that okay. This is my setup for when I travel with my SIG. Again, there's no requirement for you to have cutout foam and be all fancy, long as it meets the requirement that it's in the box, it's not loose, and so forth. So this is what mine looks like. So I've got my ammunition in the original box, and one thing about it is, and I usually only take one box. Again, if you're going to take more boxes, I have other Pelican cases, and I have another case that's a little bigger I can use to put more ammo in. And again, I don't need all this foam cut out. You could actually remove this foam, put the firearm in there, a couple boxes of ammo and so forth. Just make sure you're not above the required weight. But remember, when traveling, the ammo cannot be loose, so it's got to be in the little tray. You can't just pour rounds in there. Okay, so I've got that. I put in here a nice little area. I typically will carry 2 magazines with me. You can carry more. Again, it's the same rules we just talked about. Just make sure everything's secure. And I've got my 2 magazines here. Right? They fit right in here. And then, of course, I have my firearm. The one thing I do a little extra as far as when traveling is I'll remove the battery from my Streamlight and just put it in my carry-on, which you can do. It's a small little lithium battery, and the only reason I do that is because I'm worried that the switch or the button that's on the bottom part might shift a little. I mean, I'm probably over worried, and turn the light on. So I do take it out. I'm not required, but you can do that. And also with your holsters can actually be in the carry-on, but I put everything in the checked baggage because it's just easier. Anyway, that's my setup. Again, you can do it any way you want. There's all kinds of different cases. People have all kinds of stuff. But remember, it's got to be a hard-sided case. Cannot be a soft case. And the ammunition in the original box or containers. These are different containers that I have that I can use as well. These are made for the ammunition, and these are fine as well if you have these. But I then just put it in here. But I usually just throw in the original box. And that's it. I've never had a problem on any airline. Again, I haven't flown on hundreds of airlines, but looking at all the rules and the ones I have flown on, this setup works perfectly, and I've never had an issue. Again, if you want, you want to carry more magazines, or you don't want to cut out the foam like I've done, or remove the foam pieces like I've done, that's fine too. Just take the middle out. I would just take the middle out, set the firearm in there, a couple magazines, ammunition, whatever you're gonna do. I just don't like stuff sliding around. Okay, and that's it. I hope this helps, and have safe travels. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. I hope it was helpful. As you can see, it's pretty simple when traveling with a firearm. The big thing is just make sure you can carry where you're going and what the restrictions are as far as magazines, where you can carry and so forth. Check out msddefense.com for any NRA courses, as well as the Texas License to Carry course we now offer. You can always reach us at 817-964-3088, or you can email me at mark, that's M-A-R-C, at msddefense.com. Until next time, watch your six, stay safe out there, and I will see you at the range.